All right, the first part to having a dynamic vertical jump and jumping through the roof on your test day is the setup. So what I want to talk Jordan through here is a few things that are going to set him up to jump the best vertical ever. The first thing is where you align at the Vertec machine. Most Vertecs, okay, first of all, this is what most people are going to use. So this is what's used in the NFL Combine, it's what's used in the NBA Combine. It was used at my college pro day in front of over 28 NFL teams. It's what's used at most high school combines today is still this Vertec machine. It's the most accurate. Now what you want to do, the first thing is the pegs are going to be affected by gravity. And as a result, the end of the pegs are going to slope downward a little bit on most Vertec machines. So it might be a 1/4 inch or even a 1/2 inch lower on the outside of the Vertec. So what I'm going to tell Jordan to do is just to align, okay, his hand is right in line with the outside of the Vertec. Okay, the next thing is just whichever hand you jump with and touch with, that should be, if you're a basketball player, a simple way to do that is what's the normal hand that you do a layup with. So if you normally do a layup with your right hand, that should be the hand that you're jumping and touching the Vertec with. If you normally do a layup with your left hand, and that's the most comfortable, then that's the hand. Whichever hand it is, okay, you want that hand to be the one that's hitting the outside of the Vertec. If you were to flip hands, you should not be able to hit the Vertec. That's the way. So I'll just demonstrate. So Jordan's right-handed. He's going to put his right hand up. It's right under the Vertec. Now put your left hand up. His left hand is a foot outside of it, okay? So whichever hand you're going to touch with, one hand, that's the hand that should be your dominant hand. So Jordan's right-handed, that's the hand he's touching with. Okay, the next thing for the setup is your alignment within the side of the Vertec. Okay, so Jordan wants his hand to be directly in line, and I'm cutting to another angle right now so you can see this. You want it to be directly in line with the bottom of the Vertec. So your feet, your hips, your head, and your hand are all in line. Here's the reason. We don't want to waste any motion jumping forward or any motion reaching backwards. We want to take all your motion, all your thought, and all your energy going straight up into the Vertec to get your best vertical ever. Okay, the last thing on the setup is your feet. You don't want your feet really wide, and you don't want your feet really narrow. So what I'm going to have Jordan do, the easy way to get this is just have Jordan hop up and land, and wherever he lands normally, that's going to be about where he wants his feet. So I'm going to have him do that right now. Okay, so where his feet landed normally, that's about where you want him to be. Now you can adjust it a couple inches from there, but the main thing is you don't want really wide because you're not going to have as much power and explosion, and you don't want them really narrow because you're not going to have as much power and explosion. You want them shoulder width to moderately narrow, about right here. Okay, so that's going to set you up to do your best vertical. Now, one last note. This will disqualify you from jumping if you don't get this. You are not allowed to take a start step, so you can't start with 1 foot back and then take a step and jump. That's not allowed. Your feet have to stay motionless. If you do a little hop step before you go down, they will not count it. And if they do not count it, you don't get that rep most times when you test. So you're not going to give yourself the most chances to jump your best vertical ever if you do either of those things. So that's a main point. So this is the setup. Okay, again to review, make sure that your hand, your dominant hand, easy way to do that is whichever hand you're most comfortable doing a layup with, your dominant hand is directly on the outside, the lowest point of the pegs. Your hand is directly in line with the side of the Vertec, so you're not wasting any motion going forward and backward. Your feet are naturally moderately narrow, shoulder width stance. And then make sure, again, when you set up to jump, you don't shuffle your feet, you don't take a step or do a hop step, or they will not count that rep.